your mind?
Like I mistimed to click. Oh well, it is what it is. Hey, what's up, Shadowhawk?
Hey, hey, what's up, fellas?
Hell, 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 hell. Hey, hey, hey.
Just,
What's
We
going
got
on?
file
Justin,
13.
good
Willie
to talk to
P.
you,
File
sir.
13 is coming in just a
Yeah,
little
you
bit,
too.
but we're just gonna hang out till then. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Lord Sandwich, Hell Meaty Nights. Hello, hello,
Meaty
Lord
Hail,
Sandwich.
nights.
Lord Samet.
Uh,
Hail.
Hell bacon to you, man. There you go. Anyway, Mad Ruth. Hello, everyone, man. Hello, hello.
Oh,
Come on in if you
Bad
want
Ruth.
to,
Oh,
Mad
good.
Ruth. Anyway,
hail, Brad.
yeah,
Holy
yeah.
goodness, man.
Tonight we're just gonna have like a when you do the scientific method, you like establish a theory, right? And then you experiment with the theory until you either prove or disprove the theory, right? Well,
Well,
that
that's
was the first three shows. Now we're on to the last bit. Is it replicable? Can you apply it to the real world? Can you like you apply it to other things and have it
can you prove
have it
your
have
theory? In other words,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So we're to the proving ground here. Um, does my
fair
theory
enough.
hold water? Right. Anyway, tonight we're going to talk about the we're going to like apply the concept, which I am calling the binary, the ones and zeros of character development, i.e., good characters equals good story. Most people like to want to start out with the plot and the story, and then like plug in characters as kind of like you know ancillary things to move the plot along. We've
Right.
got books out there right now where that's the case. Would you say Shadow Hawk?
Yes, yes, I would definitely say, yeah, yeah, I don't know how deep you want to get into, I know
Mm-hmm.
we're talking character development and too, but at some point, I think somebody needs to do a serious show about editing and paying
Mm-hmm.
attention to the small details because
Yeah.
I see a lot of that going by the wayside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We did a show with Aldous and um, what is his name? The guys that are editors on Rocket.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Oh, Steve.
Steve.
Steve
Steve
Rude,
Dye.
the
Steve.
dude,
Yeah, Steve. Yeah,
Steve, the
that's
dude.
rude to dude, right?
Yes, sir.
And also we had Piper on that night, so we did have three editors on talking about the importance of editing. So
All
uh,
right. Well, I'll
you might have missed
refrain
that
from.
show.
I will refrain from commenting on Piper.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Uh, I was not aware that maybe that wasn't the best thing in the world until Steve's like Facebook like what? And I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay. So this was not a good idea. Anyway,
oops. Yeah.
uh,
Oh.
it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway,
Yeah.
Well, let me
I
And
think
you,
we'll have to redo that.
I'm a big
What's that?
supporter. I don't try to talk crap about anybody. So, I
I
do.
got you. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you. I got you. But
all
anyway,
right.
so what we're doing tonight is we're going to like put some legs on it. We're going to apply this to characters. We're going to throw some characters in the middle, and we're going to try to parse out whether they're pulp or they're noir. That includes any OCs you want to bring into it.
mm,
If you want to like bring an OC in and talk about their attributes, and we can. If the theory holds water, it should be applicable. Okay.
okay.
Anyway, so these are some rough parameters that I came up with earlier. So pulp characters, they're unchangeable moral compass. They have supernatural attributes. They're aspirational, and they never compromise their values or their self. The noir characters tend to have situational ethics. They're down to earth, human, and most of the time they wind up being a cautionary tale, and they lose self and they compromise their values.
Okay.
So that's the premise we're going to go on tonight. That's that's going to be the bottom baseline that we're going to use here. So okay.
Well, I like that because it gives you a clear definition between the two. You know. So
right. Yeah. Now, as I was discussing with Justin, he was asking, wait a second, sometimes pulp characters go a little awry, and sometimes noir characters do heroic things. Well, we'll discuss that too. All right, hey, File 13.
Hey, Bunny, how's it going? Good afternoon, guys.
Hey. All right. Well, we got Willie here. We're ready to go. We can go now. Anyway,
we got a wild Willie.
Yes,
Wild Willie is here. All right. Anyway, wet Willie or anyway. All right. So,
oh my gosh.
All right.
Whoa.
So, what I was saying earlier, Willie, is the scientific method dictates that if you have a theory and you've proven it in lab conditions and you've kind of hashed it out in lab conditions, then the next step is that you've got to apply it to the real world. You got to you have to be able to replicate it out, and it has to stand up to scrutiny out in the real world. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, all right. So we're talking about pulp and noir is the binary is of characters. Okay, they're either pulp or they're noir, and so at times that can skew. Either some pulp can skew noir, or some noir can skew pulp, but at their core being, they're eventually going to spring back to true. Okay, example: Sandman at one time went good and was actually on the Avengers, right?
Right.
But he wound up going back to his criminal ways when he didn't get the returns at being a hero that he thought he should have gotten. Okay. So he was noir, but went pulp. He acted pulp for a little while, but eventually, the real Sandman came out, and so he's a noir character that tried to be pulp for a little while. Deadpool is a good example of a noir character that occasionally does pulp things for a little while, but eventually his true nature comes back in. Okay. And we've seen it time and time again. The Avengers movie, the Hulk, for a little while, he was smashing on the Avengers, right? But remember when he and Thor wound up in Grand Central Station? And then when Thor wasn't looking, he like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so perfect because I was like that is perfect because the Hulk wouldn't have just he was fighting with this guy like a couple of days ago. He wouldn't have let that go entirely, right? And so he punched him, but that was the most Hulk like thing I saw him do the whole entire thing. Right? But because the Hulk is just he's like Mr. Hyde. He's noir to the core, but occasionally he does pulp things. Okay. So anybody got a character we want to test out?
Well, first I want to. What is a supernatural attribute?
Okay,
good question.
All right, supernatural doesn't necessarily mean powers. Supernatural can mean a determination or a skill level, or like you have a monk who has a high level of martial arts ability. Okay, but they tend to appear to be supernatural, because of most of the time pulp characters have a high level of focus. They have a high level of training. Pulp characters tend to be more disciplined. Okay.
Right.
So larger than life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Like the Batman. Batman's not supernatural, but he is trained, so highly trained, he seems supernatural. And his determination is supernatural.
Right. And he also
and that-
uses theatrics to create that illusion.
Right. Yeah, that's
Right,
true.
right.
Like throwing down the
All right,
smoke.
so
or
let me
whatever
ask you this, T Bunny. What about
yeah.
like a character like say Mike Hammer, like the hard boiled
Mike Hammer.
gumshoe detective
Mhm.
guy? You know, what do you
Okay.
what is that more noir or do you think that's more pulp?
Well, it basically at the end of the day, when he's truly himself, where does he land? Usually, my camera would land on the side of the angels. Okay,
Right.
and usually, how many times did he get drug into a situation reluctantly because he couldn't let somebody be, let some wrong be left without justice, or some
Right.
person who needed his help. He couldn't walk away from it. He had to help
Gotcha.
them. No
So
matter
he
what it
land,
cost.
so he would be more firmly on the pulp side of
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. He would be pulp, but he also had a lot of noir like things
Element.
that he did to accomplish his
Yeah.
aims. So he's like right there on the line. Okay, but
Right.
at his very core being, he winds up being pulp.
Cool.
Hold on, let me point this out. Fanta, hello, Fanta, Phantasmagorical. Yeah, hello.
Hey.
And Belmont. I guess Belmont put down the bong.
So,
What's up, Justin?
So
Hey,
I don't have to
Belmont.
say
The other
hello.
Justin.
All right. Okay.
Never gets old.
Never gets
Never
old.
gets
Never gets old. It's all right. Yeah, so that's a good question because people like my camera, they definitely skew.
Well, that's
as
I
far
mean,
as
for me,
again,
and that's why I'm kind of glad you're doing this show because I always
right.
kind of considered pulp and noir kind of the
Yeah.
same category, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people get that mixed up. A very good writer friend of mine refused to go on the first show with me because he was like, "Oh, they're too close together. There's really no distinction." That's why I went on the show with Kimo Sabi, and we had a hell of a show. One of my best shows ever. Just throwing it back and forth.
Nice.
But basically, why this matters though? Why this matters, knowing if your character's pulp or noir, is
Mhm.
because if you have a character who doesn't really move, moral wise, he doesn't move. He's in some way, shape, or form, he's like a static character. If you've got
Right, he's
that in your
very, very
story,
morally grounded. You're not gonna.
right.
Okay.
Why does Star Trek work? Okay, Star Trek worked because Kirk skewed noir, but he had Spock over here who's absolutely pulp. 100% pulp, and
Yeah.
never
Okay.
wavering from his pulpiness. And so it worked because Kirk always knew. Okay, I need to get back to that guy.
Right. Well, plus you got
I
that
may
balance,
dance with the
though,
devil,
too,
but that
you know.
right. And he kept Shatner. Well, I mean Kirk. Well, we all know the Kirk was Shatner, but
Right.
but he would always Kirk would always know where I need to get back to, right? And so having Spock there was really important. If you notice the search for Spock, the movie is always considered a little bit odd because it didn't have that moral compass. You didn't have that Spock there.
Yeah.
Okay, with the eyebrow arched, like, okay, this is a bad idea,
Yeah.
Highly illogical.
I used to love that look.
Right. The logic,
yeah.
right. But then the reason why people love 4 so much is because Spock was back, and then even though he was a little off because he just come back from death, okay, and he wasn't quite himself. But when you watch the interactions, Shatner having Spock back allowed him to be Shatner, be Kirk. You know, it allowed him to just throw caution to the wind. You know, I need you to calculate the trajectory it's necessary for us to get back to 1984. And then he's like, I can't be exact. He's like, I guess I'm gonna have to guess. And you're gonna have to guess. He's like, guess. I don't guess. You know.
Yeah.
But
totally illogical.
Right. But four was such a better movie than 3, because if you watched when Shatner.
All right, wait. Which was 4 the one with the whale?
4 was the one with the whale. Yeah. They did time travel. Right.
There were parts of it that I liked a lot, and other parts of it just,
it had some cheesy elements. It really did. It did. It did. It had a little bit of cheesy elements, but yeah. But if you're watching 3, you know, when he steals the Enterprise and he goes looking for Spock, he didn't have Spock there going like, okay, this is a bad idea, you know. And so
he was.
So you had Kirk like off the chain, and Kirk like just, you know, doing Kirk things. But in part 4, that was back.
You're making me want to watch all the movies again, man. Oh.
It's the best one of the best trilogies of science fiction. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I remember I remember Undiscovered Country having to grow on me. Like I had to watch it like two or 3 times, and then I'm like, and it finally was like it clicked, and I was like, okay, yeah, I like this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody said something.
I didn't like it much.
Somebody said something that completely redeems that movie. If the whole thing was Kirk having a dream. He was still in Yosemite the whole time, and it was Kirk having a dream. If you watch it from that, because he said, merrily, merrily, life is but a dream.
Right.
And he says it multiple times through it, right? And then at the end of it, there's this weird thing where he wakes up by the campfire. And it's like there's like no transition there. And it's like, if you watch it and thinking that it's all a dream, and this is just all in Kirk's head, then it redeems the movie completely.
So,
but it also completely cheesifies it. Yeah. I mean, you know.
Well, I guess his dreams were cheesy, you know. Yeah, part 6 was Undiscovered Country. Part 6 was actually the best of all of them, I think.
Oh, okay. I got them confused. Maybe I didn't see 5. Oh, the Final Frontier. Well,
Final Frontier.
I probably did, but I was awful young.
I don't remember,
young, but I actually
5 very well.
Yeah, I watched. I watched number 6 in the movie theater. I do remember that.
Well, it's the most Kirk thing out of all the movies was in part 5. Kirk walking up to this being and saying, "Excuse me, what does God need with a starship?" Come on, that's the most Kirk thing he's ever done. That's awesome. That's awesome. Anyway,
I mean, aside from betting all the aliens back in the day.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Greetings, sinners. Unfortunately, it's past midnight in Portugal, so I'll catch up with you guys on the replay. Interesting topic. Take care. Hey, Shadowhawk. All right, Murphy. Sleep well, my friend. Sleep well, my friend.
Either one. Anybody have a teenage daughter?
Teenage daughter?
Yeah.
No.
I've raised mine.
I got one left. I'm trying to get through those last five years or so. And
good luck.
Well,
good luck.
In case you're wondering, she's definitely she's going to be noir.
Texting the crap out of me right now and making me crazy.
Yeah, trust me, she's going to be noir for a little while.
She's gonna be.
Yeah, she's going to be a noir character there. All right. Anyway.
Well, hopefully she learns from her dad. Eventually, she'll become Pulp.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
They do. You just keep it up. I got a 23-year-old daughter, so yeah, just keep it up. Just keep it up.
Dude. Well, my oldest turned 39 Groundhog Day.
Oh.
I've got a 23-year-old, I've got a 17-year-old son, and then I got my 12 going on 19-year-old daughter, who right now is making me insane.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're pretty much I call it a endocrinological insanity. You know,
have you had to threaten anybody yet? Just out of curiosity.
Not yet.
Okay.
not yet.
It's gonna get to there.
It's
Oh,
gonna get
dude,
there.
You already know.
it's been done before. My oldest daughter's
That's what I'm saying.
boyfriend. Yeah, those poor suckers.
Good stuff.
I-
Says that he met the Mothman today. Smoked a joint. It's pretty cool. It's mainly he's misunderstood. Yeah, they went to Point Pleasant,
Nice.
so that's going to be on a later. It's going to be on a later cannabis and conspiracies. We're
Point
gonna do one
Pleasant,
on the
New
Mothman.
Jersey.
Yeah, Point
Yeah,
Pleasant.
I have heard that those the
Shit, that's my old
Mothman
hangout.
being a
Mhm.
dick is highly exaggerated.
Yeah, well, there is a Point Pleasant. In Point Pleasant, there is a statue of the Mothman, and there's a museum. So there's also where he was supposedly like there's like a waste dump where he supposedly hung out. So they visited all those places today. Anyway,
Nice.
back to the topic at hand.
Sorry.
Oh, there's a Hojo calling us nerds like he's not. Well, whatever, dude.
Well,
All right.
nefarious.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Hojo.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I love it.
Appreciate
Thank you
man.
very much.
Appreciate it. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So anybody have a character they want to throw out that we can discuss?
Punisher.
Good stuff. What up?
Punisher. There you
Because
go.
he,
Okay,
he
now,
starts
hold on.
noir.
Hold on.
That's where he starts.
Hold on. Hot take. Let's. Okay. So
Oh,
you're not
okay.
talking about Punisher now, right? You're talking about like the actual Frank
Old
Castle,
school.
the one that we
So
all
that's what I'm
admire
trying to
and
get
love.
to, because
Mhm.
you're looking at before and after. Where did
Yeah.
he start and where did he end up? He started out, in my opinion, as noir, right?
Mhm.
He was just that person until his family was murdered, and then
Right.
he became pulp, and So my question, and then going
Right.
off topic, I hear a lot of singular
Mhm.
characters, and I can't think of a single team that would fall on either of these. Now, how do teams work with this? You got all these teams.
Oh,
Well, okay.
That's a good question.
Everybody
you
has
do-
different moral compasses. So is there a
Okay.
team
Well,
that
well,
falls
we're,
under
we're
any
gonna
of this?
we can talk about that. All right.
All right.
Okay.
So
So
Frank
when it
Castle.
comes to team dynamics, okay.
Frank
these are-
Castle first. Let's go with Frank first.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go
Well,
Frank first.
you should have waited.
I'm
All
sorry,
right.
man.
Okay.
I just
All
Come
right.
on, you're
I got excited.
you're talking to. I'm diehard, man. I got the
Okay.
tattoo and everything. Actually, I got two
Damn.
Punisher tattoos. So
All right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I was one
Okay,
of those psychopaths that wore the Frank Castle on their bulletproof vest in combat.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
the skull
All
crew.
right.
So I love
There you
Frank
go, there you
Castle and
go.
the whole Punisher stuff, man. So yeah,
Hell yeah.
let's
All
go
You
with
never
Okay.
got shot, did you?
no
There
comment.
it is, right there.
All right. Well,
There
hopefully
you go.
not too
Oh,
bad
man.
anyway.
Yeah.
Oh man.
See, there
you
it
go,
is.
there you
Yeah,
And
buddy.
yeah, and then I got and then I actually have the Hearts of Darkness tattooed on my calf, on my left
Oh,
calf.
dang.
So
Nice.
technically, it's
There you go.
Punisher, Ghost Rider, and Wolverine together.
Well,
but-
okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, let's
Nail
talk
it.
about it.
Let's go.
Okay, so yeah, when he before he got shot, before his family got killed, he did like skew noir. He was doing a lot of shady shit. He was doing a lot of black bag ops. He was killing people in foreign countries. He wasn't showing a lot of moral compass there. Would that be agreement? Would there be agreement there?
I don't know, because you have to look
I
at
mean,
who was he
so-
working for? Let's
so-
look at that.
Well, he was a bad guy to start with, right? He was a gangster.
No,
Or a crooked cop, one or the other, or something.
Well,
Maybe I'm getting.
I think the lore was that he was like a SF soldier
He's
doing black
special
bag
special
ops.
ops kind of guy.
Okay.
Yeah, overseas.
Yeah, he was yeah. Of course,
then
he's a Marine. He's a Marine.
Right.
So, but yeah, he. So what they did was, I think Garth Ennis did the Bourne run, where it
Right.
was all the way back to Vietnam, and he
right.
while he has an unchangeable moral compass.
Mhm.
He still I think his moral compass is just not killing people is not immoral to him.
Well,
Unless
let's
they're
talk about that
innocents.
though. Basically, what happened was he didn't have a moral compass after his family got killed, but after his family got killed, he just that's when it all came into focus for him.
Right.
What
That's
his entire
when he became a focus.
yeah.
You know.
Right, but then
Well,
he
so
became entirely pulp, even though he did a lot more stuff. He was entirely pulp because he had the moral compass, unchangeable moral compass.
Right.
People are
And he
bad
was
guys
out
need
to
to be punished.
end the organized crime at that point.
Hmm. Right,
That was
and
like.
so yeah, and that supernatural
But dude, I'm
attribute
telling.
was his.
See, I
He
was
was
out
trading
during
his
all
focus.
the. You got to remember, I didn't collect Marvel or DC from 2000 till now. I gave up on them a long time
dude.
ago. So I'm talking
my
about
gosh.
the Mike Barron days, the
Yeah.
old school
Yeah.
Punisher. I'm not talking
Right.
about
Yeah,
all the Garth Ennis and whatever else. I don't know that stuff.
Well, I'm
Okay.
gonna tell
Okay.
you. I'm gonna tell you though. Garth Ennis, like nobody knows Frank outside of Mike Barron. Garth Ennis really tapped into him in that Welcome Back Frank. If you can get that there's a trade paperback that collects all those issues, like
Uh-huh.
that is solid.
Right.
It is so good.
Right.
And then he
And
did the
I do like
Bourne.
Garth Ennis. I've been catching
Yeah.
up on it, like Preacher and
Mhm.
shit, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he did
Well,
so he went back and did the Vietnam stuff. And what I'm trying to get at is, I mean, again, it's one of those things where you have another writer who takes the baton and kind of decides, hey, we're going to kind of go back and talk about Punisher before his family was killed.
right.
And what he shows in Vietnam, like there's a scene here in Bourne where there's a group of his soldiers. Okay, so he's actually a commander, a lieutenant, I believe, and so he has a
Okay.
platoon. He's responsible for a platoon, and
Right.
he's got or maybe it's his squad's a little smaller, but he's definitely an officer. And they're actually about to rape one of the women there, and and he and never mind she was an assassin. Okay, so she sneaks in, she kills a bunch of these guys, and so they're like, okay, well, we're gonna they caught her, and we're gonna
Right.
teach her a lesson. And they go and like one of them, the ringleader, is like, yeah, we're gonna. And so while he's like doing the thing, Frank Castle pulls a gun and just lets one off and like just like splatters her brains, right, like in the middle of the thing of the act, and he says no rape, right? So like in that moment he says no rape, and like everyone's just like, what in the world, because this was a Max comic, right? This was Marvel Max. Well,
Right.
later on,
Right.
when he's trying to clean his face off, clean the blood off of himself in the water, Frank Castle sticks his boot and shoves a guy's face underwater to drown him. So the question is, like, he has that moral compass. It's like he's punishing people for these misdeeds.
Okay, but does
Right.
he drown him, or does he just hold him
No,
underwater?
he drowns him.
Oh, okay.
No, as far as I understand, he held it because the guy was unrepentant.
Right.
So, and
Well,
that's the key.
Fuck 'em.
Okay, Hojo, I've got three shows on this topic. Okay, maybe you should go back and watch that first. Anyway, and then watch this one. So, even though you've been there the whole time I've done this, evidently you didn't even pay attention.
Noir.
Okay.
Oh my gosh!
All right.
It's crazy. The description he gave, it makes actual sense if you look a little bit back. So he killed the assassin in the middle of the rape. Am I correct in that? Well, I guarantee you that his orders were to kill the assassin. I guarantee you there was orders that said to rape the assassin first. Frank Castle would have allowed it because it was part of the orders. By him saying the rape is not the thing, he was following orders to get the assassin. But by watching the people rape him, he understood as a Marine that this was morally wrong and ethically wrong. And by, I believe, drowning that one guy, he set an example for the rest. because you have to think in the 1970s, they also had the Geneva Convention where war crimes were punishable by death and covered. This is a fact. So he had every right to kill this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, if orders came down for the soldiers to rape this woman, they all could have disobeyed them because it was an unlawful order.
Exactly.
We know this. I mean, rape is an unlawful order.
Oh yeah,
and
exactly.
Also,
right.
I guess I should use a different example. I think he stuck to the orders is what I'm getting to the point. He stuck to the orders,
exactly.
and once it came down to moral, moral value, he still has values. I see. They're just very dark and sinister now.
Right.
He does have a moral compass. It's everybody needs to
okay.
pay
Let me at least say this, that let me just put this out. Hojo this was actually his idea. The first one we did, and he's been kind of like on board all along. So this is just him like ragging me. Okay. So anyway, all right. So clarifying for to not get lost in the weeds here. Okay, so we've proven that Frank Castle has an unchangeable moral compass. Okay, and his moral compass is basically on justice, on ends, but he has supernatural attribute, which is his determination. The war journal. He's always on the
damn
mission,
near
right?
unkillable. I mean,
right. But he never compromises himself. Is he aspirational? I mean, you guys got tattoos on you, so evidently a lot of people inspired to be Frank Castle.
Yeah.
So there you go. So he's clearly pulp. Even though his methodology skews noir quite a bit. Anyway,
and he did have some noir elements, maybe.
Right.
So, yeah, but
would Rambo be noir or pulp? I lean toward the former. Yeah, Rambo would definitely, I think, be noir. I mean, about pulp. He would definitely be pulp, I think.
Yeah, he'd be pulp. Yeah, totally, dude.
Well, I mean, and if you watch that first movie, right? First Blood. I mean, he just wants to live his life. He just he's like, okay, I've left the war. I just want to, live in peace.
Yeah.
And they drove him to the edge, man. He's just like, I can't.
But he never killed anybody. That whole thing, he never killed anybody.
Yep.
Troutman told that sheriff, if he wanted you people dead, you would be dead. If he wanted you dead, you would be dead. Because the sheriff was like, he's a psychopath. He's not a psychopath.
Coming back. Just coming back.
All right. Anyway, Eastland says that she loves the tease. I know you do. So Hojo disagrees. Okay. Well, all right. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Hojo. But yeah, I think he's pulp. It's my show, so I'm saying he's pulp. But anyway.
I just think
I don't know the case I don't know the case you can make that he's noir. I mean, he never lost his moral compass.
Even in Rambo, even in the what is it, the fifth movie? Not Rambo.
What was the?
It gets confusing. It's not the latest one, right, where he actually goes home. But the one where he's on his way home, and so he's like, but it starts with him in Burma of all places.
Yeah.
That was just Rambo.
But
that was just Rambo.
Rambo.
Right.
Good movie. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think the last one was called John Rambo.
First Blood.
Yeah.
I mean, they all start with him defending someone else. He sees some horrible, misdeed going on, and he's gonna fix it.
Well, I mean, after all this Stryker did to him, and he had the knife, and he could have planted it right between the guy's eyeballs, and he just planted it beside his head because that man couldn't take that away from him, right? You can't make me kill you. You can't force me to be something I'm not.
You can't turn me into a bad guy. But
right, exactly. Anyway, Noir is a jaded character that wants to do right and wrong. Feels like it doesn't fit in the world he or she lives in. Yeah, you could have that, definitely. I mean, that could be part of it.
I mean, that's a way. That's certainly a way to justify it, I guess. I mean,
yeah. Right.
Or to them, they're convinced that way. Sure. And I think that's what makes Batman so compelling, is because he is a pulp character who's set in a world that is like vehemently noir. Like everybody around him, so much so that even the Joker is just like beside himself that Batman is just not going to go there.
Right.
And this whole notion of this modern Batman where he does kill somebody, it's preposterous.
Yeah,
that's like Daredevil. You know, that's the other thing. Daredevil is going to start killing people. No, sorry,
no,
that boat don't float.
No.
I mean, look at the old Daredevil book. I mean, oh, dude, there were so many good runs of Daredevil in his.
Oh yeah. Now Matt Murdock was a man whore who would sleep with anything that would have him, basically. But
but
that's
Daredevil
the thing. That's the thing, right?
Very more.
Right. But he would go to confession afterwards and feel guilty. But there you go.
Hey, he was blind and he was using it to his advantage, my friend.
But that's the thing. I guess that's the thing about a moral compass, right? Is that if you think about
your face,
the metaphor
let me feel you.
Oh my gosh!
Right.
But that a moral compass has one single needle, right? So it's kind of like this one thing that you just like all these other amoral things can go on around it, but that one thing you're just not gonna give up. Whatever.
Yeah, you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's a true north. There's
somebody to a pulp over.
Right. So Noir wants to believe in it is hard. Pulp is okay or loves to be morally dirty or the rule breaker. No, ma'am. That's not the definition that.
What?
All right, hold on. Got somebody coming in, Mr. Aaron from What's Bane Comics. Hey, man.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How's it going?
Hey. All right. We're just having a discussion. We're the strong characters out there and determining if they're pulp or noir. We're trying to put some legs on this theory of mine. Okay. So far we've talked about Punisher. We've talked about Daredevil and John Rambo. Characters that
Batman.
seem to have noir methodology, even though they're primarily pulp characters.
I feel that. Let me turn that off.
Right. A character who was definitely noir, I would say, but tends to wind up on the the side of the angels more often than not, is probably Deadpool. Would you agree with that?
You call him noir?
I call him, definitely. I call him noir.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, his moral compass is all over the place. I mean,
right.
Definitely.
It's like this.
I guess
I mean, it really depends on his mood, like if he wakes up.
I guess he is down to earth. I mean, as a human, he is pretty down to earth as a person.
Yeah. Right.
But Deadpool wakes up pissed off. You don't want to cross it.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, for that particular moment, he might be pissed off, but that's the thing about him. Right. It's like,
you know what I'm saying.
Whoever he's around or whatever he's trying to accomplish is where his moral compass points. Okay, there's no true north with him.
Yeah, well, he'll feel bad after he cuts your head off, but
right. Right. There you go.
Sometimes, yeah.
Like,
for a little while, maybe.
Sorry about that.
Whoops.
It's like, that's right. You don't grow back, do you? This is awkward. Anyway. but then you have somebody like Wolverine. Okay, Wolverine is an interesting case. Okay. Because Wolverine, there's times in his life where he was noir, but then eventually he would find his way to being pulp, but it was like he was almost forced to be noir for at periods of time in his life. But when he had a choice in the matter, he'd wind up on pulp, the side of the pulp. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I think when that period of time when he lost the adamantium, he actually, when he didn't have adamantium, he became way more savage with the bone claws than he was when he actually had the metal. He really, boy, howdy.
Did he go and say?
Yeah.
Well, he definitely went pretty nuts. In a sense, you could say.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hey.
All right. Hey, Wookie.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, they all. I don't know. Didn't you guys hear me?
Yeah, but yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
But
at that time, they
basically,
also worked in a like the adamantium was dampening his mutant powers or something.
Right.
So when he lost it, it like started making him more and more feral and shit.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. He started mutating, I believe.
Yeah,
he
started to get like
looking more
his
animalistic.
teeth were growing, and he was getting all.
Yeah.
Dang.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was crazy too, because he would take those bone claws and he would break them off in people and just like, and then they would grow back. And he was so brutal.
He didn't
Yeah,
care.
he didn't give a shit, man.
He didn't know. Honey Badger don't care.
Yeah, they'll grow back.
The irony too is not lost on me because now they got a honey
badger. It's like
badger
a great white shark, right? What do they? They don't give a shit if they lose a couple of teeth, right? Yeah.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
but yeah, sorry. I could
go
on.
No problem.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah,
that one issue where he gets the. Go ahead.
Right. I'm sorry. Okay, but when Wolverine has his choice, though, when it's like he has like okay, I'm full control of my faculties. I have a choice in the matter. He seemed to wind up being Pulp. He seemed to wind up doing the right thing, being aspirational. So, in his case, he does a lot of things that appear to be noir, but he winds up when it all washes out, he winds up being a Pulp character.
I guess, but he's got a pretty large body count.
Yeah, he's got a large body count. No count. Pulp is following his own compass and being morally wrong is judged by others or a rule breaker. Others' rules.
So we're talking about Deadpool. What about Deathstroke?
Ooh, Deathstroke.
Deathstroke.
Because now
Deathstroke.
Because we're looking at Deadpool. We're talking about Deadpool. So where does Deathstroke fall?
Wait a minute.
I think
he's Pulp. I think Deathstroke is Pulp. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at his obligation being he doesn't care what happens as long as he gets paid.
Yeah.
His obsession for money is Pulp. But what do you think about go ahead.
Isn't he just a mercenary? I mean, he basically is whoever pays the most. So
yeah.
But there's been times where somebody's like offered him more money and he stayed with the original contract.
Yeah, but that doesn't give you a moral compass. That just means you made a contract, you don't break it. That I don't know if that gives you like moral ground to stand on.
Well. The thing
I guess in
you
a
have
way,
to understand about Pulp and Noire.
I don't know. All right, I'll give you that.
Pulp and Noire, it doesn't mean good, right, or wrong, because you can have villains that are pulp characters.
True.
All it means at the end of the day is you've got an unchangeable code. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's right or wrong, but it just means that you have an unchangeable moral code. And I think that Deathstroke has an unchangeable moral code.
I mean, what would you consider his thing with the Titans? Because if you offer a job to fucking like punch Dick Grayson in the face, he'll do it for free.
And you also got to kind of look at his history too, because I mean, in the beginning, he was in the U.S. Army. Just kind of like the Punisher. His story was kind of like the Punisher. He became a major. I was just reading a little bit on it. So I mean, I don't know.
Does anybody know how he got his powers? Was that just natural mutant ability?
Super
Captain America
drugged him.
Oh, super soldier formula type thing.
Yeah,
he was chosen for a secret experiment.
DC has its own version of the super soldier formula, and he got it. But yeah, DC has its own version.
I mean,
of it.
he's a great fucking character, man. I like him a lot. But
well, Liefeld wanted to draw him, and they wouldn't let him.
I mean, I get that. Yeah, he doesn't break a contract, but at the same time, he might take the contract from somebody totally honorable, you know, 2 weeks ago, and then now he takes a contract from the Hand 3 weeks later, and he's not going to break that one either. He's going to do what he said he's going to do. So to me, that makes him more noir than Pulp.
Well, yeah, but he stays bald. Once he's bald, he stays bald. It's like the honest politician is the one that stays bald, right?
So can you be like, is there like a way that you can be both?
Yeah, I think he's, you know, he's a bit of both.
I mean, but so it sounds like we've established that he has situational ethics. So
yes,
instead of an actual moral compass, because what cause does he actually like? What cause does he fight for?
Whoever's paying him.
Justice.
Okay.
Does he care about justice?
Yeah.
You know, does he? I mean, is that
if he's paid
to
care? He does. He will.
Sometimes
he's paid to care.
Yeah, it's whoever's paying him the most. So that's not really like a moral compass.
So there you go. Situational.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
So that he's a noir character with pulp values then.
I win.
Or pulp traits.
Well, okay. Well, he's right on the line. Okay, but okay, I'm gonna change my mind. I guess he's over the line into pulp or into noir. But he's like right on the line, and he has a lot of pulp-like attributes. But at the end of the day, yeah, okay, I agree with you. He's definitely noir.
So
I'll agree with you.
So let's follow on the heels of him with Peacemaker.
Ooh, Peacemaker.
Malcolm Reynolds.
Oh.
Wait,
I gotta research
let's go to this one. Yeah, let's go to this one first. Captain Malcolm Reynolds of Firefly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say he's Pulp.
He's Pulp.
Yeah,
he's Pulp.
I'm gonna say he's definitely. I'm gonna say Pulp. Definitely
100%.
Pulp.
Firefly.
100%.
Yeah,
the old
he's the arsonist,
sci-fi
right?
show from. Oh
yeah.
From what I remember, he's Pulp for sure.
Especially in that great movie, which is one of the best science fiction movies I've ever seen.
He had like the bad bomber jacket shit, right?
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Well, he's got it's this long flowing coat, man. It's such a badass coat. It's a Confederate Army coat.
Yeah, the duster, man. Yeah.
Right. The brown coat. Yeah. But yeah, in addition to his fashion sense, I would definitely say he is definitely Pulp. He's a Pulp character.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's Pulp.
But
Peacemaker. Like, you know, just out of curiosity, what do y'all think?
I have to research him.
Yeah, he's a psychopath, but he seems he has a code that he holds to. You know, that his pig-headedness is probably supernatural ability.
He's definitely Pulp.
Yeah, but he's so pulp that he becomes a villain. So,
and I'll be the first to admit I don't know Peacemaker at all from the comics or anything, but I watched the show with what's his face, the big muscle head guy.
Yeah.
John is it John Bautista?
John Cena.
John Cena, thank you.
John Cena. Yeah.
Been watching some wrestling lately, so
I mean,
did you see?
He's totally Pulp, but he's just like totally fucked up.
Well,
he's a total patriot.
Moral code, but
he's a total patriot. I will give him that, man. But other than that, everything else about him is just fucked up.
In the worst way, though, because I mean, no spoilers.
Well, I didn't say it was a good way.
After watching the Suicide Squad, and there's a certain situation that happens in the village. I'm like,
Have
okay,
you
I'm done watching this movie.
What was that?
Y'all can have it.
Netflix
I don't want it.
or
I'm done.
Amazon? Whatever.
That was
walked
interesting
out.
in the village.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I said,
That's
"Look, I am done. I am done. Y'all can have this movie because it's not for me."
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well,
that shit murdered me, man.
Yeah.
I would just, oh god. That and the boys. That fucking shit nuts.
Third episode, I'm like, I'm done. That y'all can have that show. I don't want it. It's not for me. Not for me.
Well, the thing about it though is,
dude, you didn't watch Hero Gasm?
I'm not watching that one. That's where I draw the line.
Like I said, first season, I got to the third episode, and then I'm just like, this show is not for me. I mean, I cringed all the way to that part, or to that episode, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm done with the show.
Did you see Love
Oh
Sausage?
my god. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know about Love Sausage?
Yes.
God,
yes.
I don't.
I did see that.
About
I
Love
did.
Sausage.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I
no.
did.
Well, let me point out though, if we're proving my theory here, if we're proving my theory here, you guys have been able to take a character and evaluate and come down on and agree in agreement as to what quality this person has. So that would seem to indicate that I have a point here, because you guys were able to determine that even though he does awful things, that he's a pulp character, right?
Yeah. I mean, so far it seems you have a valid theory. I mean, we've been able to use it on multiple characters, movies, comics, etc. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. That works.
Dude, actual like scientific method. Wow. Hey, believe science.
I feel that, yeah, man.
Believe the science, kid. Anyway, at least in this case. I'm
looking for a job on CNN, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. The way this works, though, is if you go to create a character for whatever work of fiction that you're doing, if you know that they're a pulp character or a noir character, then you know how they're going to interact. Okay. And basically, if you have pulp characters, you can just hang your whole entire story on those people, because you know exactly where they're going to be. You know how you know exactly how they're going to act in any given situation, and so you can build from that. And if you have noir characters, most of the time they're going to be affected more by the pulp characters than the pulp are affected by the noir characters. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because noir characters have that situational ethic, so if they're around a pulp character, then they're going to do more pulp like things. Even if they're not truly pulp, they're going to be more influenced by the unchangeable. It's like it's like you got the unmovable object is going to affect the movable object. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What are the unmovable object and the irresistible force? Is that
irresistible force?
Unstoppable force.
Well, that doesn't apply here because
unstoppable force.
Well, that doesn't apply here. I mean, if you got two pulps in the same area, in the same area, they're going to inevitably come into conflict. So that's a good point too.
True.
Because unless their moral compasses align, then they're not. If their moral compasses don't align,
two positives make a negative.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
And I guess that depends how you look at it. Is that an opportunity to, expand your universe, or is it a problem that you guys are, your characters are at odds or whatever?
Right.
Well,
right.
and that makes it interesting, right? Is if you've got your characters if they're so aligned, it's like, well, what like, where's the conflict? Because
where's the conflict, right?
You gotta have, you gotta have conflict with everything's just gonna be flat. And I think
right, but even like
it's really good that we
just
bring
as
this up.
a quick example,
go ahead.
Dr. Doom and Reed Richards, when they started off in university together, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were
right.
best buddies, but they were competing with each other all the time, always trying to prove who was better, who's the smarter one. And then one of them goes completely good, the other one goes, whoa, just skews a little bit over to the evil side.
Right.
World domination. Shit like that.
Right. Yeah. So that's a good example of two pulp characters coming into conflict. A perfect example of that. Yeah.
Right.
But see,
and
the way that works, earlier File 13 was talking about how does this work in a group setting. Well, this works in a group setting. Like, you had one pulp character, Wolverine. You had one pulp character, Scott Summers. They were always in conflict with one another, but they were aligned enough that they had a common goal, but they weren't aligned enough that they didn't like friction off of each other all the time, right? And so in a group dynamic, knowing who your pulp characters are, then you had noir character, like Bobby Drake, who had situational ethics and was just like
eventually they came together with this redhead in between them.
Right. Well, she was definitely a common goal. She was definitely a common goal. But she was a pulp character too. She was
killing me over.
But the thing about it is though is there's like a hierarchy. Pulp characters usually wind up having a hierarchy, right? There usually winds up being one that's overarching all the other ones that everyone else like looks to. Like Xavier was the ultimate pulp character in the X-Men.
And so until they changed him.
Changed him. I'm talking about classic Claremont. We're not talking.
Oh yeah, he's a pulp douchebag.
Yeah,
dude, that I just read the first one.
Wait a minute. Who just said Claremont is a douchebag? I would
not Claremont. I'm saying the original Professor X
Xavier.
is a douchebag.
Professor X.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a bit of manipulative douchebag. Yeah. I agree.
He was a complete douchebag. If it wasn't for him, the Dark Phoenix never would have happened.
Oh yeah.
Right. But at the same time, though, his vision of the future and his cohabitation of mutant and mankind, that vision of his.
How'd that work out for him?
Yeah, right. But see, you had him and Magneto. Magneto was also a pulp character, but pulp in the other direction.
Even in the alternate future, the Sentinels wipe out the fucking mutants.
Right. I hear you. I'm not talking about the validity of his vision. Okay, we're talking about was he a pulp character or not. Anyway.
No, he had a really good vision.
Yeah.
But so did Magneto. Magneto was fucking hardcore on his views too,
Well, anyway, I promised File 13 that we'd keep this about to an hour.
Don't blame me because you don't want to party. Okay, buddy. No. Hey, you're pointing the fingers already.
All right.
I've been here once.
Anyway, but thank you guys for coming tonight. I think you proved my theory pretty solidly. Did you guys learn something you think are going to be beneficial to your creating characters in the future?
If I remember,
for sure.
If you remember.
Yeah, exactly.
I took notes, so
Oh, there you go. I got one student. All right. Anyway.
Well, I'm gonna bookmark the video.
Well,
there you go.
Let me give you one piece of advice. One thing that I'm kind of learning as I go along is that when you go to start your story, the more things you can nail down, the more things that you can define before you go to write the story, the better off you're going to the story. Like nailing down character attributes is a biggie. Having an idea of a plot is a big one. Or having world building, knowing a lot about the world that you're putting your characters into is a big one. People that just go into something and just blurt stuff all over the page and hope it all comes out. They usually wind up don't having a coherent vision. That's what we're dealing with in mainstream. That's what they're doing in the mainstream right now.
Well, and we're seeing a lot of that in indie too.
Yeah, in indie too. Yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So basically,
but there are those of us.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
But yeah,
I was just gonna say there are those of us that are doing our best, right, Aaron? Where we're trying to establish something, good and new.
Oh, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm not saying that I'm the best.
I hope all you guys
know
know
that
me.
I'm shooting high.
Exactly. You want to be one of the best.
I'm gonna do my best.
Exactly.
I'm a big supporter, and I give everybody that comes out CG indie, I give them a chance.
Yeah.
And if you do a good job, I'll be there for you, man. If you put out unfortunately, I'm gonna start doing a retrospective on everything I've gotten from CG in the last 4 years, and there are gonna be some people that are not gonna be happy with me.
Well, I'll join you in that because I probably have every book that you have.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm at like 360 right now on backing.
Dang.
Let's burn the witches and call some stitches, man. Yeah, let's do it.
Because it's time, dude. After 4 years, there's no excuse for typos and bullshit. I'm done with that, man.
No, there isn't. I
got you. That's goddamn amateur crap.
Well, anyway, all right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, chat, for showing up tonight.
Hello.
Thanks
for having me.
No problem. Anyway, sure. Got a point there. Grow some hair, cover it up. No one will ever know. I have no idea what he means by that. Anyway.
Good.
All right. I have no idea what he means by that. He might be talking to Justin or File 13. I don't know which one.
Oh no.
Hello, good night.
I look good. I don't know what you're
joking.
talking
I'm
about.
joking. All right. Well, Shadowpunk. I said Hawk had to go. All right. Hold on 1 second. Let me. All right. Okay. All right. So, if anybody wants a copy of that, it's an easy file. I can send it to you.
I'll take it.
Or you can just go back and copy it off this anyway. All right, cool. The bottom line. This is the binary, guys. This is the binary. Every character out there is going to wind up falling into one or two of these categories. Okay, and knowing which one that's your villains and your heroes. Okay, I mean, like Lex Luthor is a pulp character, believe it or not. He's a pulp character. He's got all the attributes of a pulp character. So basically, knowing what that is, knowing conflict, by the way, because characters. So there you go. All right. So so basically knowing this, knowing what that is, knowing how they interact, how does it interact with the world, it's going to help your writing immensely. You're going to start having variety in your characters. You're going to have some more structure to your group dynamics, because the problem is you don't have structure to your group dynamics, so have variety in your characters, in your groups, then it's going to be this amorphous mass of everybody acting the same and having the same values. And you're going to wind up with image teams, Power Rangers, sure, why not? Yeah. Anyway, I can't name anybody outside of Tommy. I mean,
really? Jason,
Billy, yeah, thank
Billy,
you.
Zach,
Kim,
Trixie.
No, they're all pulp characters, though. I think so.
Zordon.
I mean, I think the only noir out of that whole show was Zordon, but that's a hot take.
Oh damn.
Zordon.
He does.
There you go. He did seem to have some situational ethics. I agree with that. Anyway.
Just saying.
Okay, well thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks for Shadowhawk for coming on.
No problem.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
But thanks, Justin Sweet. Thank you, File 13. Thank you, Wookie Fever for coming on, and thank you, Aaron, for what's being comics.
Thank you.
That has Cooper from Tactic Comics. Anybody has any comments or questions about anything that you saw tonight? My DMs are open. I'm always willing to talk. And that's all I got for tonight, folks. Y'all have a good weekend. Bye, everybody.
Tell me what's on your mind.